checking partners' phones.
Yeah.
What's your belief on checking your partner's phone? And so even you said earlier as well, you're insecure even now.
Yeah.
So your partner, there's no room for him cheating because you always you're always on top of that. What does that actually look like?
Yeah, okay.
And is that you checking his phone? Is that you checking his Instagram?
I'm actually a big advocate against checking phones. And the reason being is I've had my phone checked. It's a big violation when you don't know the context. And also the other thing is, because I know I'm jealous, I mitigate and limit the things that will cause me pain.
Oh.
I don't look for pain because I already cause myself enough stress with that stuff. So I actually don't believe in checking phones. What I do believe instead is when you get that urge to check somebody's phone, recognize what's changed in your intimacy. Something's changed that's making you want to check his phone. Something's happened, either that he's holding it differently, he's maneuvering differently, or your connection in general has changed and it's making you insecure. So if you're feeling the need to check the phone, check in on your intimacy. Have that conversation first and do all of those things. Now, if you're one of those people that really needs proof, really needs proof before you can do everything, what I would say is you're probably not strong enough to walk away anyway. If you're one of those people that needs red-handed evidence, you're probably going to find the evidence and not walk away. So what is the point of doing that? Only check the phone. I don't recommend it. If you've got the strength to walk away. If you've got the strength to walk away, you shouldn't even need to check the phone. Have the conversation. But usually what I find is the people that want to catch their partner just to show that they're not going insane, but then they don't have the willingness to walk away. Now, I think the women that have the willingness to walk away, before it even gets to the red-handed conversation, you're doing enough for me to not like this relationship. You're coming home a bit late. You're hiding your phone. You're doing enough for me to want to walk away. I don't need to check the phone to know that this is not a relationship that makes me feel good. But the ones that don't have the willingness to walk away and don't have the strength to walk away, they do all these micromanaging behaviors. And that's men and women. They do that. They micromanage rather than just walk away. It's better to, instead of going down that toxic route, just walk away beforehand.
Well, okay, so you actually just said something that made me think, well, what about the gaslighting?
Yeah.
Where we know many men that will gaslight women that to make them, no, it's you. You're going crazy. I can't believe you're jealous. What the, right? And so they'll freaking gaslight you in making you think it's all you. So what would you do in that moment? Because sometimes you don't actually know, like, is it me? Am I going crazy? Or do you start to actually doubt yourself?
You know what? I try and reserve judgment on what to do in those situations because I don't know what I would do. And this is somebody who's from a professional background. I still don't know what I would do. What I have seen people do is they record conversations between them and their partner. And the reason they record conversations is because they actually want to see, am I the problem? Am I doing something? And when they record the conversations and they listen back, they see an abuser, a bully, and a victim, and then they realize. So I do understand that gaslighting can make you want to look for evidence, but I think better than looking for evidence is look for help. Either speak to somebody like a friend or somebody that you trust, or speak to a professional. Seek help first. A professional will give you an objective perspective if you are to blame or if it's them. If once you've sought an objective perspective, that should give you more clarity. Going down the route of checking phones and stuff, unfortunately, it can leave you with a PTSD that you don't know how to cope with afterwards. Wow. I've seen people who've seen pictures that they can't get out of their head, or they've read messages that they can't believe, and they can forgive everything else except what they saw. So sometimes it's more damage than it's worth. So I would recommend speaking to someone first.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so sorry I interrupted you. So how do you, I don't want to say monitor your boyfriend?
No, I think the main thing I do is I check in a lot. And I recognize if there's any way of where we're being disconnected in any way, shape or form. We're always in contact or stuff like that. And that makes it very difficult for us to live separate lives. It would be very difficult for me to do anything and for him to do anything because we don't live separate lives. So I think it's that creating one life together as whilst having your independent space, but having one life together prevents anyone straying too far.
Well, where do you draw that fine line then of checking in and then being obsessive? Like, where are you? What time? Hang on, you haven't texted me back. 5 minutes later, hey, where are you? You said that you were going to call me.
I think when the conversations are soothing, it doesn't get to neurotic. What I mean by that is if you call Tom in the morning and he's at work and he's like, babe, I'm just in a meeting, I'll call you back in just an hour. What will happen is it can go 2 hours, you won't notice. But when he's ignoring you or he's like, oh, fuck's sake, can you just leave me alone for a minute? Of course you're going to become neurotic. So I would say the fine line becomes on the context of the conversation. If it's soothing, it will never cross boundaries. But if that conversation is hostile, then it turns into something more negative.
Oh, yeah, that makes complete sense.